One more for that amazing Pyro.
Where's the one more at?
I gave it to you. It was 4.
I didn't hear it. Oh, okay. I'm not even counting those. I'm just waiting for the gap to come in.
Who would have thought when we came up with this podcast, 3 years ago, that we would have named it fittingly just for AEW?
Boy. This is the burial episode. We are all wearing black. There's going to be some EGBing going on tonight in regard to those folks who host the show on Turner. My name is Total Mac. Alongside with me, as always, my two gents, Swervy Lee, a.k.a. One Sub Swerve, SVS Swerve, a.k.a. Swervy Atmos, a.k.a. Swollen Power, f.k.a. Yoko Tuna, a.k.a. They see me on 85. You know what I mean? 85 inches, you know what I mean? Pause. You know what I mean? We see you, big dog. How you doing?
Yeah, man, pause.
Got an 85 inch, man.
Don't nobody knows you first.
I can't be talking about that. Come on now.
Yeah, man. I was doing 85 in traffic, trying to rush back home to get to this podcast because we got some important stuff to talk about.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And last but not least, joining us as well is No Chill Drew, aka EGB, aka Dollarita Drew, aka the Applebee's Don, aka.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. The big explosion. Oh,
damn. We don't even get the snap, crackle, and pop. We don't even get the voice sound effect going. We get a missed mark on the show. I wonder where you got that one from.
can't even imagine.
How you doing today, man?
Not well. Not well.
Okay. All right. So, in one's life, grief is set to happen. And today we are going to do things differently. It is not a joyous episode. It is not a happy time here at the No Pyro family. We got to talk about something that happened on Sunday. And we will heal together as a family. We are not even going to talk about the WWE today. Maybe in a little bit of dirt, but we're not even going to talk Raw. We're not going to talk SmackDown. We got WrestleMania coming up, and we're not even going to talk about them because what happened on Sunday deserves our full attention. And that was AEW's Revolution, and a revolution it was not. I know that people that have listened to this show before say, you know what, diehards, we're not even going to listen to this. We can't. We don't even want to experience the memories, the setbacks. Not even memories, just the evil thoughts that come with what that show was on Sunday. And listen, I don't gloat about being right, but I don't want to be right here. I really don't. Because it should be good company versus good company, or a good show versus a good show. I get more joy in being wrong than being right because it has a better ring to it. It's better content. And I'm not going to sit here today and gloat. I'm going to be here with my brothers in arms, my fellow AEW watchers. I don't want to say it ain't so I won't say it is so.
Hey, Matt, can I say something?
Go ahead, man.
If having Pyro is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Swervely did not get the memo, y'all. This is not playing. I didn't know he would be out here gloating.
This dude showed up to a funeral in tie-dye.
So before we get to AEW's pay-per-view and what happened, we got to talk about Dynamite. Now, last week was Dynamite with Hill O'Neal, Cody Rhodes. They previewed it for the past 3 or 4 weeks. And Drew, I'm going to let you take the reins here because this is what you do.
Okay, so We start off this Dynamite with the tag team match that they've been talking about for some time. That is Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet taking on Shaq and Jade Cargill. So I know that we came on like kind of bleak, but I'm not even gonna front. Jade Cargill can fucking go. She's gonna be a star. And honestly, the women in this match performed a hell of a lot better than the men. You know, Shaq. Hey, listen, Shaq was better than Goldberg. I'll say that. But I mean,
Drew.
Hey, let me finish.
You got to get some on, man.
That bar is not very high.
But
Realistically, this match went longer than 5 minutes. That's the only reason it was better. So the match ends with Cody and Shaq going through a table, and then Jade pins Red Velvet, and Jade and Shaq get the win. Apparently, going through two tables is a Mortal Kombat fatality because Shaq's fucking dead. They do the stretcher job. They wheel him in. And this is where I will say, listen, I know AEW totes, we're not WWE. We don't need all that production bullshit. You kind of do. You kind of at least need somebody who knows production. Just one guy. And I say that because they wheel Shaq into the ambulance and Tony Schiavone's like literally standing right at the ambulance. And they do like one commercial. And Schiavone's like, yeah, so, you know, Shaq's dead. They wheeled him into the ambulance, but I'm a piece of shit, so let's get in there. So he opens the ambulance door, and Shaq's gone. He's fucking gone. I don't know how they're trying to explain this. Like, is he now the Undertaker?
Shaq is the Fiend, right?
Like, how? Listen, I can understand if he was like a supernatural being, but you're not going to be like, oh no, Shaq's strong enough because, yeah, strength's one thing. Schiavone would have definitely seen him get out of the fucking ambulance. You know, he's kind of Shaquille O'Neal. You know, the guy who left the ambulance and went missing. Can you describe him? Yeah, so, you know, he's about, you know, in his late 40s, African-American, 7'3", you know, looks like a fucking LA Laker.
I think if he can fit in those small cars we trying to sell you commercials, he can escape without you seeing him.
You know who helped him get that getaway, don't you?
the General.
The General. So I usually don't like. I think it's kind of cheesy when they try to tie in like TV shows that are going to be up airing like right after the wrestling show, like and then tune in for Silk Stockings, or whatever. But man, I would have given so much for JR to have been at the booth going, "Wow, that's crazy, folks! But you know what? If you want to see crazy, tune in to TNT after Dynamite, where we'll be airing Avengers Endgame. Thanos snaps some of the Avengers out of existence into dust. Find out what happens, and we hope to find out what the hell happened with Shaq."
So I got a couple things. One, AEW very smart for match placement. Very smart. This opened the show. Very smart. Not mad at it. Probably the best thing they did all night was where they put this match.
Yes and no.
Well, why you say that?
So yes, because obviously it sets the stage, and it's like, okay, this is, wow, you guys are coming out with a heavy hitter. But if I'm a casual fan who found out Shaq is going to be on AEW, and you put him on first, immediately after that show ends, what am I doing? Change that motherfucking channel.
Well, it's not even about what you're doing after the show. I think you reel the people in with the first segment, which was Shaq. And then the next segment is probably going to be either as equally as important or more important than the initial segment because you want to keep the people there now that you have them. That's just my opinion.
I wanted to agree with that, but based off what the match they ended it with, I was just like, eh.
Well, I mean, that's the plan. Like Mike Tyson once said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So plans can change. I don't know if they switched it at the 11th hour or what, but I just, I would hope that would be the mindset that they would have, with that particular match. Secondly,
Yeah,
all right,
I can feel you. Pause.
I don't know about y'all, but I enjoyed the shit out of that match.
It was a good match. Hey, listen, I'm not going to knock that match. Was it the best match ever? No. But was it better than I thought it was going to be? Yes.
They did their job. They got the hell out the way, and they let the women really take the spotlight. But a nice power bomb from Shaq. The table.
No sell from Cody.
Huh?
Of course.
A no sell from Cody.
Well, of course. I mean, why would he? You're not going to come on my show and outwork me.
He's got the power of Pyro on his hands. I mean,
Shaq's supposed to be a Titan, man. Come on.
I don't know, you might want to go back and look at the match. It's on YouTube, but I could have swore after Shaq got put through a table and the camera's like panning overhead, he's literally on the floor laughing. I swear.
Dude, he looked like he was crying during the match.
He was. He got severe allergies, man. I know that issue. Did you enjoy those gentle Big Show-esque chops?
Yes.
Oh, well, I enjoyed that, but I enjoyed more the Cody the knee smash to the abdomen, which was about as soft as a Charmin tissue. But besides that, that's the most negative thing I'll say about the match. But man, I would have enjoyed that if it was on a pay-per-view. I wouldn't have been mad. 6 minutes. Cody and Shaq did what they did, and the women got the bump. All right, I'm sorry.
Shaq also gave a little nod to Brody Lee, so that was nice.
Yeah, on that powerbomb, right? So he's a fan. He watches, I guess. But that's my takeaway from that match.
We have, we already had one big name. Now we go to a match that has two big names. That is Hickory Smoke and Cadbury. Because it's time for some ham and eggs.
Oh, boy.
We got Pac and Phoenix taking on John Schuyler and D3. And I'm not talking about the Mighty Ducks.
Are you talking about Devon, Bubba Ray, and Spike?
No.
Oh.
But I am talking about a 2-minute squash match.
I just want to know why AEW puts on these ham and eggers and they're done getting eaten before I can finish my ham and eggs for breakfast.
Hey, it's a breakfast of champions. They know how to down it. Pause. Okay, so press conference time. This is where we start to get into the cringe level. We have Chris Jericho and MJF out here doing a press conference where they have quote-unquote members of the press. Or basically just every wrestling personality hawking their fucking podcast. So they start mocking the fact that they left the Young Bucks' father laying, quote-unquote bloodied, even though, it clearly catch up. Eric Bischoff shows up, stumbles through his lines, kind of like I do. Conrad Thompson shows up, asks him a question. MJF called him turkey tits. We're on a good roll. Then the Young Bucks show up. They cut an actually pretty good promo. And then it just breaks into chaos. Gallows and Anderson come out. They start brawling with Inner Circle. The Young Bucks put Jericho and MJF through tables. Pretty good build up to the tag team match, aside from the actual press conference that was cringy as fuck.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. AEW didn't do a good job keeping me there because I once the Shaq mentioned, I turned it off. But that's just me.
Then we have FTR and Tully Blanchard taking on Jungle Express. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, oh, God.
Hard to get through, man.
It's just, man, I talk so much shit about WWE bringing in all these old timers. And you have like a goodbye 150 years in just 3 of the guys who interfere with this fucking thing.
But Drew, here and again, I'm not here to bash. But why now are you just seeing this?
I have no fucking idea. First and foremost, I don't know what the fuck JJ Dillon was doing there, okay? Okay?
Listen, JJ Dillon doesn't know what the fuck he was doing.
I saw JJ Dillon and I'm just like, okay, I get it. You know, we talk all this shit about, AEW is the new WCW, and I try to fucking just like bat those away. How do I defend this? How do I defend this fucking match? How do I defend JJ Dillon, Tully Blanchard, DDP, Glacier? How do I defend Arn Anderson? All these guys in this fucking promotion. Never mind the guys that we're going to talk about, a little bit later.
They're looking for that moment, man.
I'm waiting on Terry Funk for somebody to show up.
Cody is such a mark for anything his dad did. And he fucking loves that NWA shit. And the NWA is such a fucking dead brand. Let it go. Okay? Let it go. Build something new. Stop bringing out your dad's old friends. Let's move on, because I'm getting hot. We go to Nyla Rose against Ryo Mizunami. This match was actually pretty good. I'm not going to fucking lie. Did you guys see this match at all?
I did not.
This was a solid match. Ryo ended up getting the win. After the match, the champion came out, and they kind of did a stare down, and then they started exchanging forearms for some reason, and then they went off air like that.
It was a big fight feel.
Next match that we have is Preston Vance taking on Max Caster.
Okay.
If you're wondering who these are, Max Caster is from the Acclaim. Preston Vance is apparently a Dark Order member. They are competing for the final spot in the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Jack Evans showed up out of nowhere, hit Vance with the boombox, and Caster got the pin and the win in this. Let's go on to them. Before we talk about the main event, they introduced Paul White wearing a shirt that says "No More BS." We all know what he's implying to, because hey, we need to get a tongue-in-cheek in there, huh? We're talking about the WWE. We're making a jab.
Dude, they even had signs in the crowd saying "No More BS." Did you see that?
Yeah, because hey, we are a smart promotion. We're giving them the jabs. Here's something that I think all of us learned as kids. And if you didn't, you probably grew up in some kind of a private school. But for those of us who went to public school, it is run your mouth too long, and eventually that shit's going to catch up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And as we see on Sunday,
That
let's get caught up.
should have track shoes on, okay?
Yeah, and the people that they've been talking shit about made sure to make a point to show that turnabout is fair play, because WWE got their own jabs in. But
when I watched that Big Show promo or Paul White promo, I feel like he embodied what the AEW roster, like the old guys, the retreads, how they feel. And they feel like, na boo boo, look at me now. Ha 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 ha. I'm doing better than you. And it's like, no, you're not. It's like, finally, I'm free.
So
I can do what I want.
I feel like that's not them as much as it's AEW telling them to kind of remember that. Because I was listening to Big Show on, I think it was AEW's podcast, that or Jericho's show, one of the two. He was just on, and he had mentioned that, Vince called him the day it was announced that he had signed with AEW. Vince called him and congratulated him, wished him luck, said, "Hey, no hard feelings, pal. I get it. It's a contract talk. Best of luck. We appreciate your time. If you're done there and you still want to do something, door's always open."
You can kiss the Hall of Fame goodbye.
That is Vince. Oh, man. You don't want to hear that.
You know what, though? I'm not even going to say that, because if you remember, when the Horsemen went into the Hall of Fame, Ric Flair was still wrestling in TNA. They actually finagled a deal with TNA to bring in Ric Flair for a night. But, he said there's no hard feelings. It seems like, from a lot of the interviews I hear, a lot of these old timers that are going to AEW all have the same thing in common. They all want to be on TV more, and WWE just wants to use them in featured spots. Sort of like what they do with Goldberg, sort of like what they do with Brock Lesnar, where it's, hey, we'll bring you in for 1 or 2 shots. And, guys like our Hall of Famer that we see on Sunday wants to be more of a regular time guy. And Paul White is willing to do commentary, but he wants to be active. He wants to actually be involved. So I think that's their gripe, and that's why they're coming over. It's not so much of, hey, I hate WWE and they treat me bad. It's, they're just not using me.
I mean, you got to kind of know when the fans aren't cheering for you. You kind of got to know, like Sunday. I didn't watch the pay-per-view, right? I watched All-Star Game because that's what I do. So that ran till about 11:30, and the All-Star Game is just a multitude and a litany of different, superstars in the NBA that come together for a special night. Old guys, young guys, people who are there in their first nom, people who are there on their 17th nom. You can have somebody who's been to the All-Star Game 10, 12 times and understand, like, yo, it's a different experience than it was for my first, second, third time. Now I'm the elder statesman. Now people want to walk up and take pictures with me. I am not the marquee anymore. I am somebody who's still here. I am a star and whatever respect now, but it's not the same as when I was at the top of the league, top of my game, fans, knocking over barricades to come and see me, because at the height of my career, which is now past, I was the dude. And these old guys in AEW, some in WWE too, don't get it. Move aside. If you love the sport that you're in so much, you will respect it to move aside and understand everyone has a clock. And your time is just run out. Now you can go and do something else. Be great at something different. But don't, for the sake of the company still stand in the spotlight when that spotlight is now reserved for somebody else.
Some people's clock don't start ticking until they're 44, though.
Yeah, but if your clock is already ticked, don't go looking for. I mean, you can't flip the shit over again like you playing Taboo. It's over. Like, and I don't think they get it.
Well, I think that's a problem when it's a sports entertainment, quote unquote, is in sports when a guy is, a 17-year pro or something, he can't perform as well as he did when he was second, third year there. And his body will tell him, like, hey, listen, it's time to make one last, hurrah, or, it's time to pack it in. In pro wrestling, you can get a guy who's like, oh, I can work a tag match and still be wrestling for another 5 years because, I still have some charisma and I know how to get some cheers from the audience. Like with Paul White's case, if he is going to just be a commentator, I'm fine with it. Okay? I'm fine. Mind you, I'm not a fan of his commentary. But I'm fine if he's coming in to just commentate because I'd rather have a guy who has a personality and who knows pro wrestling coming in to be a commentator than, a moist towelette that they have commentating on like Raw or SmackDown. That's just like generic guy number 3 is just, excited about this match, I guess.
And he has a great show on Netflix too.
Drew, you want to know what's crazy? I think that's wrong, and here's why. Not to say you're wrong, but I think he's wrong. Like, look how he debuted. I've got some real big news.
So okay, that's not him. That's not him. That's AEW.
Yeah, but you know what? I know that it's not him. But the average watcher doesn't know who's who. So
here's the thing, and this is a gripe I've had with AEW for a while now. AEW has this terrible habit of overhyping literally everything. I don't know if you guys remember, but they got in a little bit of hot water with their fans on Twitter about a year and a half ago, before this COVID thing started. Because they're like, guys, we have this huge fucking announcement that's coming on Twitter. You need to tune in at noon on a Thursday to find out this huge news. It's a bombshell news. And everyone's like, okay, like, what is this? Is it a huge signing? Is it CM Punk? Like, what's this huge news? It's like, guys, tickets are on sale for North Carolina. Like, people are pissed. Even Tony Khan is like, yeah, I got to tell them not to fucking do that shit. And you could definitely tell that's a Cody thing. You could definitely tell that's a Cody thing. Mile away is we have to fucking hype everything. And I feel that he overcompensates a lot. But they have not gone past that at every single thing that they do. Every signing, everything is so overhyped. And it's like, if you overhype everything, you will never live up to expectations. Now, if you give just a little bit of hype, like, hey, you know what, guys, we have like this countdown ticker, kind of just put it off in the distance, count down things ticking, maybe some fans pick up like, oh, what's that ticking to? But don't draw any attention to it, just have it ticking. And at the end of the ticker, Drew McIntyre shows up or something. Like, okay, that blew my expectations out of the water because you're not shoving it down my throat every 5 seconds. Or not telling me, guys, the biggest fucking signing in pro wrestling has been made. And on Sunday, we're going to reveal that. I mean,
right.
If it's not CM Punk, or if it's not, Brock Lesnar, or if it's not somebody who legitimately is the biggest signing your company has ever made, you're going to have egg on your face.
And that's the problem. kudos. I know this is a rarity. This is a unicorn, but yo, the way WWE debuted Jericho, phenomenal. That's not gonna work like that every time, but you're right, Drew. That's how you do it.
Well, it's the same with Taz. When they debuted Taz in WWE, they just had that heartbeat just happen during random entrances, and it's like, what the fuck is this? And then when he debuted, he got that fucking monster pop. Now, obviously, they didn't know how to push him, because they're used to dealing with guys who are, taller than a child, but that initial pop was huge. And I feel like AEW is stuck in this tornado of, we want the pop. We don't want the longevity of what this can bring us. We want that one night pop.
See, here's where they're going wrong. And this is what I'm going to mention this, and you take it for whatever you want to do with it. But here's what I think. I think the AEW is banking on familiarity so much, it's hurting them.
Yes.
They are saying this is a huge Hall of Fame potential signing. Oh, it's, in case you didn't watch, I won't say his name. Oh, Paul White, he is now elite. Maven is now elite. Like, okay,
hey, that would be a big deal.
You don't have to keep bringing these people we knew that wrestled in the year 2000. Like, and that's when they were at their peak. So
one of the big things that I noticed is when they first started, their whole thing is, listen, if you're an elite athlete, we want you. We want young, fresh talent. That's what they really pushed. Young, fresh talent. They were bringing a lot of guys from the indies. A lot of big names from the indies were showing up, and you really felt like, hey, we're going to get this new breed of young stars. The Scorpio Skies, the Pentagons, the Phoenixes, Pac, stuff like that. Like, okay, yeah, we have some familiarity, but at the same time, we have a lot of guys that you might not have seen on WWE. MJF. And then they made the Jericho signing. Fine. That's great. Jericho's a great get. He can put anything over. Now we got Moxley. Well, that's fine. Moxley's a star. Moxley can sell a lot of merch. Moxley can push numbers. And then we got Rusev. Okay, well, yeah.
Right.
And then we got Sting. And then we got Big Show. And then we got Sunday. And it's like, okay, at what point are we just signing guys because they left WWE, they have somewhat of a name recognition, and, they're just putting in their fucking notice to AEW saying, hey, I've got a name, let me just work for you, because you don't want to just be the company that guys use to get a better deal at WWE. You don't want to be known as the company that guys are just saying to WWE, hey, I might go there, so you better pay me more.
Rusev could do better. I don't know what they're doing with that. The Cisco route they got him going on.
Yeah, you know what? Rusev, where the money reside. And I ain't mad at him. He like, you gonna pay me to do what I did in WWE and sometimes damn near less? He's not even an every week wrestler. Why are you signing guys that appear on the show one time every 4 weeks?
Rusev just doesn't seem to care as much. Which, I mean, here's the thing. You want to sign guys who seem like they actually give a fuck. Rusev seems like he's there and he's just hanging out. He has a Twitch thing, but hey, they want to pay me to do the wrestling thing still, so I'm doing it. But you can definitely tell that he's not as hungry as he was when he was riding a fucking tank to the ring in WrestleMania.
I'm not even mad at Rusev because that's what the climate is nowadays. And if they want to pay him to do what he's doing, then back up the brink truck.
This company, in order to survive and be longevity and have that longevity, You need to have standards. You can't just bring a guy in because he quit WWE. You can't be the company that guys are just comfortable leaving WWE and showing up with their same bullshit attitude that they had in WWE because, well, they're paying me and it's guaranteed contract, so yeah, let's do it. You got to have standards. Go out and find somebody. Don't just be like, well, this person quit, so let's hire him. I would say, fuck it. Let them bounce around the fucking indies and let them want it. You know, you look at a guy like Drew McIntyre. Left WWE, bounced around the indies, got better. You don't want to sign a guy that WWE just gets rid of right away because he's not better. He's the same guy that they got rid of.
Drew.
Do you think that they could slow down on the signings for right now? Like, do they have enough talent?
They should. They definitely should because you have the talent that you sign initially that you're supposed to push and supposed to make that aren't on TV. I mean, I will say this. I think Rey Fenix is a fucking star. He is a star. And the fact that he's not getting pushed as much as he is a tragedy. It really is. Because he should be pushed.
You think it's his choice?
I don't think so.
I know who's saying Sammy Guevara. That man is tweeting from the gulag.
I mean, Phoenix, you could make him your Rey Mysterio circa 2005. And just push the merch, push the sales of young, impressionable Hispanic viewers. And bring that audience in. But instead, we're watching what we saw on Sunday.
Why are you stunning the growth of Darby Allin and pairing him up with Sting?
He doesn't need Sting.
Right. I got a better example for you, Drew. Where you talk about, let a guy go out to the indies. I'm not going to name this wrestler, but they are a champion in WWE. They used to be a champion in WWE. And then they just broke camp. They had a nice run as a, tag champ. Then they had a singles run, which was somewhat decent. Got a couple looks, couple views. Then they left, and then they came back. It wasn't announced like how AEW would announce their signings. But if this wrestler that I'm talking about signed with AEW, it would be the same type of thing that they would make you feel like, oh shit, The Rock just signed. But it's not The Rock caliber. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I believe we're talking about Bobby Lashley.
No, we're not, but you are very close.
Well, we're talking about MVP.
No, you're not, but you're very close.
Shelton.
We are talking about Shelton Benjamin. He is a worker. He is somebody who's always been a B. He's been tossed around in the indies. He was in WWE before with I want to call it American Alpha. Oh my God. He was there
World's
with
greatest tag team.
He was there with Team Angle. He had the Intercontinental Championship. He had the gold hair. He had a nice run. But then he came back. It wasn't, Shane McMahon coming on saying, we got a hell of a signing that you're not going to see coming. And then it's Shelton Benjamin. Like.
Because he's coming back home. I mean, they know.
They would do that. But AEW, no, yeah, we gonna jazz this shit up. As my man Future once said, we're gonna dress it up and make it real for you. Whatever that fucking means.
Another good example is you remember Emma?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she left WWE, not by her own accord, but she was let go, and she went to Ring of Honor. So she bounced around first with the Indies, and then she went to Ring of Honor under her real name, Tenille Dashwood, and really reinvented herself. Really, rebuilt herself. Of course, she dealt with some injuries. She's in Impact now, and she's having probably a better run than she ever had in WWE because of the fact that she was able to go to the independents and relearn. That I think is fundamental for somebody who leaves WWE. Is you're in this bubble, and then when you leave the bubble and immediately go to another bubble, you don't learn to evolve. If you're forced to go to indies and forced to kind of relearn styles, you become better. And then you become desirable. They need to stop. They need to actually let the yeast ferment and actually bake the bread instead of, just grabbing some yeast and going, yep, it's bread.
And AEW so full of shit, too. They come out, Big Show comes out and says, he's a Hall of Fame worthy talent. Who's Hall of Fame, bro? Y'all gotta take their wood out your mouth, man. Come on, man. We gotta stop. This is getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. Y'all better than this. It doesn't have to be this way. Like, you don't have to go out this way. And it's funny, they bring out the biggest wrestling whores, Eric Bischoff, who I don't know who won't turn on the check slower. Him or Ric Flair.
They're both whores.
I'm convinced Ric Flair is not in it for the checks.
You don't think Ric's in it for the checks?
I think he's in it for the chicks.
I think Rick is in it for the flicks. I think he's like, yo, if I ain't on screen, I ain't doing shit. Point me to the nearest camera. Yeah, I don't know. AEW, I and kind of, getting past Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday, you're seeing the buildup. You're seeing people on Twitter going, yo, who do you think it's going to be? AEW was trending about, yo, I can't wait for this show. I'm about to spend $50 on this pay-per-view. I can't wait. It feels like WrestleMania. Da-da-da-da-da. And then it happens, and, oh, man, I didn't watch. But from what I hear, because I kept my ear close to the street,
I'm very surprised it was one of those names, though. I thought it wouldn't be any of them.
Well, that's why we put out on our Twitter under No Pyro Podcast. I'm like, you're either looking at Kurt. It's not going to be Brock, so you can stop that. I said Kurt. I said it's going to be a ruse, which I feel like that's the real answer. Or a woman, or comment with who you think is going to be. No one commented with who it actually was. And they did, during the night, have people come in that never have appeared on their television programming before. So some people were saying, "Oh my God, this is the signing. Okay, I can live with that. Oh wait, this girl's back. Oh, this dude's back. Okay, I can live with that." But then ladder match at the end where people were saying, "Yeah, no, still hold on. This is not it." And even after the ladder match where old boy came in, it still was nope, nope. He ain't it. Nope, we still waiting for it. And I just thought, man, this is. Listen, on Saturday's when we talked about rollouts, man. You gotta get that rollout right.
Man, that reveal was like when Shane McMahon showed up around WrestleMania time.
Oh yeah, because Shane McMahon's wrestling at WrestleMania. It's gonna be Shane and Braun Strowman. In case you didn't know. And Shane will die in the match that he's gonna have with Braun because that's just what he does. And then we'll get the "You still got it." We'll get that bullshit.
He literally goes home after every WrestleMania and asks his father, "Which one of your toys can I play with next year?"
Right.
That's what I feel like he does.
And he gives him the Braun Strowman toy because Vince is not doing anything with him. Here, you can play with this one. The motherfucker with the faded pants. The elbow is peach, but it's starting to fade. It's starting to turn black before they dipped him in the paint. You can play with one of these old toys. Go ahead. Yeah, man. It's I don't know. Drew, man, I'm like Shaka Khan, man. I feel for you.
We still have one more match from Dynamite, by the way.
I thought it was over.
We have John Silver and Adam Page taking on Matt Hardy and Mark Quinn.
Our main event of the evening.
Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about this match.
I don't want to. You know what? Okay, so I'm. Can I piggyback for a second off of your NBA All Star comment, Mac?
Please.
Okay. Matt Hardy.
Move aside.
You're looking like Michael Jordan when he was playing for the Wizards, man.
Don't disrespect Michael Jordan like that. I'm looking like Michael. I don't know. Matt Hardy is looking worse than that, bro. I don't know who. I'm just trying to think of somebody who's old and hockey.
You're looking like Steve Nash in a Lakers jersey.
There you go. Because I never even seen Steve Nash in a Lakers jersey. You know he signed for 3 years with him.
Man, What the fuck? It's time to hang it up, bro. It is time to hang it up. It's not working. It's not them, it's you. Look, there's a reason why WWE let you go but kept Jeff. It's because he can at least still work a little bit. But Matt Hardy cannot work tag matches. When you can't work tag matches anymore, it's time to hang it up, dude.
The poetry in motion is all gone. But I was brother.
Dude, I would rather watch. Like there's a handful of wrestlers that have ever competed that I just hate. Like where I'd rather watch designing women than watch them compete in the match. One is Matt Hardy. 2 is Jeff Hardy. 3 is Rey Mysterio. Those 3 I can think of off the top of my brain. I cannot stand them. They are garbage. They suck. I don't know why people like them. I really don't care for them. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, someone says you make no sense. The one exception I will make to this rule is I will watch Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy in a tag match. Singles, I have no care to watch them whatsoever. It doesn't look right to me. The broken Matt Hardy bullshit, Brother Nero, it's all trash to me. I've said this on countless episodes. I don't want to watch it. When he made his AEW debut and he was in the crowd with the drone and all this dumb shit, I said, you got to be kidding me. Fam, you're 38 years old. You're from Cameron, North Carolina. You've got a nice family. You've got a nice compound. Time to end this dye your hair, hot topic, tight velvet shirt bullshit that you got going on and end it. Stop it. It's awful. And Matt Hardy ain't going nowhere for a while because AEW, instead of investing in real talent, real character progression, they're putting their money and their hopes and their time into this bullshit. And it just won't stop. You know why?
You know I feel
because it can't stop.
You know who I feel the worst for?
Who's that?
Adam Page. Because he has so much potential. And this is what they have him working with on a pay-per-view.
He went from feuding with Hangman.
He is Hangman.
I mean, I keep doing that. He went from feuding with Omega to this.
It is depressing, to say the least, to see this.
Like, Feuding with Omega is like you booking a massage appointment, and you know it's like a hot girl that works there. You can't wait for her to rub you down because it's gonna feel good, and you know you might get a little Tom Hanks in your pants, little Toy Story, little Woody. Then you get there, and then it's a big burly guy who looks like Jim Enzo Neidhart.
R.I.P.
What a letdown.
I don't get why he's in the main event, by the way.
Who, Matt Hardy?
Yeah, why was he in the main event of your go-home show to a big pay-per-view?
Yo, I think they're treating go-home shows now like throwaway shows.
Didn't everybody run in at the end, or am I confused?
Yeah, they had some big pull-apart brawl, but who cares?
You couldn't tell the ham from the eggs when they all came out either.
Seriously.
They all came out with the Revolution t-shirts on.
I don't want to see everyone come. Yeah, I don't want to see everyone coming out and being the catch guys, being the guys to catch the dude falling, or being the pull apart guys. If the majority of your locker room are pull apart guys, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, good 98% of them.
Yeah, I hated it when they did that for the Lashley match, where they brought. I saw so many people come out that wrestled earlier in the night, and they still had their gear on. I was like, yo, you could do a better job brightening this up. But AEW probably could have gave you pull apart guys who haven't appeared on TV in weeks.
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing? What are they doing with Sean Spears? Because now he's back.
Sean Spears, he interfered with the Tully match.
That's the problem with those guys. You never know when they left to know that they came back.
Yo, he's been gone for what, 3-4 months?
Something like that.
Swerve. It's bad. I don't watch weekly, and I know this motherfucker hasn't been on. Like, he hasn't even. If he is not on, and I don't even watch to know if he is or isn't on, but I still know for a fact that he hasn't been on. That's sad.
What does that say about me? If I've been watching, I didn't notice that he left.
Yeah, that's even worse. But that's somebody like, if you're looking for a nice way, or you got to, go back in your old bag of tricks on how to debut somebody. Okay, you have somebody like him come out. You know he was disgruntled as hell. You have him come out, cut a promo against WWE, ruffle a few feathers. They understand the game. They know a little bad mouth ain't gonna do nothing much, but have you probably tuned into the other show? They could have did that with him. He was perfect for it. Man, wasted time.
Did you want to go to the pay-per-view, or did you want to go to Dirt next?
Let's break this up. Let's go to Dirt. I feel like it's got to be some good news in Dirt, man.
All right. Well.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Outfit.
We got the sirens too. So let's start off with another old timer, Ahmed Johnson.
Hey, Big T.
Ahmed Johnson was doing an interview the other day, and he says that Vince McMahon told him to his face he would never be in the Hall of Fame because he took it too personal the way Ahmed Johnson left WWE. And many people have decided to call his bullshit out. One of which was Mark Henry, who said, no, it's because you're trash in the ring and you're a trash human being. He then made some references as to why he called Ahmed Johnson a trash human being. One being that he caught Ahmed trying to pill him up in a bar one time by slipping pills into his drink.
Trying to drug Mark Henry and bring him home?
Yeah.
The hell?
Got to hit that Pearl River City plunge in bed.
Can I hop in here real quick, Drew? I got some dirt too, man.
Yeah.
So this is real quick. WWE hired a new writer. This gentleman by the name of Mike Heller was just hired. He formerly worked on a MTV show you may have heard of called Ridiculousness.
Okay.
That's my dirt for now.
Was you finished with the Ahmed and Mark Henry story?
Yeah, I mean, he was just writing down some examples of why Mark Henry was a piece of shit, and
because Mac, you could have kept that dirt.
You know, I gotta start off light, man.
Last week, I mentioned that Marty Scurll may have been heading to Japan to wrestle because a lot of their fans may not have been so upset about his allegations over here. Well, some people who are upset are the wrestlers in New Japan, who have made it very clear to the office that they don't want to work with him. So he is officially no longer linked to New Japan whatsoever. So that has fallen through for him.
Yeah, Marty.
WWE has a few new edicts that they are passing down. First one is that they are now fining guys for doing thigh slaps while kicking.
Is that why I saw the abundance of thigh slaps in that Young Bucks match? Yep,
that's exactly why. They've noticed that pretty much everyone is doing it. You know, I think that they're going to be giving a pass to guys like Daniel Bryan, who that's definitely part of their moveset, are those kicks. But for the most part, they're trying to cut down on guys who are just doing super kicks or kicks with the thigh slaps just to, you know, make a cool sound.
That's why it just makes AEW look like the jealous ex, because whenever something like that happens, they constantly have to go and pick on it. Just ignore it and do your own thing.
Mac here with some more dirt. How can I put this? The media outlet Complex. I don't know if you gentlemen heard of them before, but Bobby Lashley actually was interviewed by them, and Bobby Lashley mentioned something about adding another member to the Hurt Business. This member, by the way, was the one of opposite gender of everyone else who's in the Hurt Business.
Let me guess, Naomi.
He wanted to add a woman. Didn't say who it was, though. He said he has somebody in mind. So I don't know if those are going to get expanded. I mean, they are the most overstable in WWE. When I mean over in the back, because it's working.
It's working out front, too. You saw the electricity.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's going to carry over to adding a woman to the stable, but, you know, that would be the next, you know, choice.
Well,
big balls if she's going to be in there. I'll say that.
It's either going to be Nia or Naomi.
So the other edict that the WWE had passed down was their hiring process. They are now stating that when they are hiring people for the performance center, they are putting a cap at 30 and under. Unless there is, you know, a big star in the indies that they have to get. If you're over the age of 30, they're not interested.
WWE said that?
Yep.
Well,
I guess they're looking at their roster and they're seeing that a large chunk of their roster is pushing 40, and they're like, this is not good.
They don't even know that you breathe until you hit 40.
So, yeah, it looks like they're looking for, you know, athletes, people coming, you know, that maybe never made it in football, you know, amateur wrestlers, guys who might have been on the indie circuit that are generating a buzz, but they're looking for guys under the age of 30. And I think a big reason for that as well is they are seeing that there are a lot of people in AEW, like Hangman Page, like MJF, who are making an impact under the age of 30.
Well, I know I'll keep my eye out on that to see if they really adhere to it. We'll see.
They're going to call Goldberg next week. Someone said, I read online somewhere that the problem with, I don't know what AEW's problem is, but the problem with Vince is since he keeps getting older, everybody's still younger than him, so 40 is the new 20.
Well, Cody did a little bit of running his mouth last week. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with Pat McAfee's show. Pat McAfee decided to bring up the Shaq match that was at the time coming up. And he had mentioned that, he wasn't sure how this was going to play out. And he was shocked that Shaq would go to AEW or wrestle him there. Cody responded by saying he's shocked by that statement because, quote, Pat McAfee calls us every other week trying to get a job here.
I think that's bullshit.
McAfee quickly responded.
Yeah.
Saying, I've contemplated retiring from my show more than I've contemplated getting a job at AEW. He's like, the reason that I said what I said is because as somebody who has stepped into a wrestling ring, who's not a wrestler, you're looked at as a, quote, celebrity wrestler. And a lot of people look down on that in wrestling. A lot of people look at you differently. They don't like the fact that you're in that ring taking a spot. And he's shocked that not only would Shaq put himself in that position, but also that AEW would bring in a celebrity wrestler. So he's like, that's all he meant by that, but he has no intentions of asking for a job with Cody.
Yeah, so, Cody, he's sometimes he can come off as a bitch boy.
Yeah, he's definitely like a yap dog, like a chihuahua.
Yeah, I don't like that, man. Butt hurt.
Who else is butt hurt?
Who's that?
Kenny Omega.
Oh my God. I wonder why.
He's mad about that finale. He's apparently furious, and apparently it's been to the point where somebody might lose their job for it because he is pissed. AEW is also going out of their way to use the DCMA to take down any images on social media of that finale. DMCA, I'm sorry. So basically they're using copyright laws to their advantage to tear down any airing of that finale. They are trying to wash that from everyone's records and pretend that shit did not happen at all. Do you have anything else, or do you want me to go in my last two bits?
Yeah, you can take it.
Okay, so Jim Crockett, as we mentioned earlier, he passed away last week. He was a longtime promoter, had his own promotion during the 80s for the NWA. It was the second largest promotion in the country, next to WWE. He eventually ran out of money and sold to Ted Turner to create WCW. But he did pass away recently. I believe it was last week, actually. Let's see what the actual cause of death was. Liver and kidney failure he was dealing with complications from. He was 76, and his brother had actually mentioned that he contracted COVID-19 2 months earlier.
COVID-19 and the old folks, man, it's a slow death.
The last thing I have is not great, but Ring of Honor is going to be ending up in court soon.
Oh,
two former talents are now taking them to court. The first being Joey Mercury, who is taken to court because he was working as a producer for the company. The company listed him as a professional contractor rather than a employee. So not only were they barely paying him, but he was not offered any health benefits, whereas other employees were. He was not given many of the services that other employees were, and he felt that it was discriminatory, so he is going to be suing them. The other is Kelly Klein, who had a big falling out with them in 2019. She was their women's champion. She suffered a concussion, and it got exposed by Joey Mercury that they were not taking care of her at all as far as health-wise. She revealed that that was the case, and they basically fired her for it. Court documents revealed her contract that she had with Ring of Honor Wrestling. Now, this was their women's champion. Would you like to guess? Would you like to guess how much she was making a year at Ring of Honor?
30,000.
You say 30,000?
Yeah.
Mac, what do you say?
27.5.
What's that?
27.5.
How about 12,000?
What?
Ooh.
12,000 a year.
I think who
So
that? Damn.
she was also advised that she needs to take care of her own medical expenses when she suffered her concussion. However, they expected her to make a South Africa trip that she had to pay for as well.
You must really love wrestling.
What's that?
I said she must really love wrestling to be putting up with that. Ain't no way in hell.
So during the speaking out movement, she mentioned that when she was 18 in the wrestling business, a popular wrestler raped her, but she would not name a name. However, in this court document, one of the defendants is Jay Lethal, who she is suing for sexual harassment and sexual misconduct. And part of her lawsuit with Ring of Honor is covering up his sexual misconduct against her.
So you putting two and two together.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people are as well. And she is not the first female talent to say that Jay Lethal has been a creep.
That name alone sounds like you are a creep.
Taylor Hendricks had mentioned that she was his previous manager when he was Ring of Honor World Champ. And she would mention how he would just be texting her in the middle of the night, like, hey, you up? You DTF? Like, he was basically like, thirsty for her. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
My man said, if it's up, then it's up. And if it's up, then it's stuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Jay Lethal, kind of a creep.
I could believe it.
Black machismo.
Is that it for dirt?
What's that?
Is that it for dirt?
That's all I have, yeah.
Okay. Now we get to the sad part of the show.
Oh, yeah. Revolution, which is way different than the previous Revolution, the one last year, which was actually a really solid show.
The Revolution will be televised.
Unfortunately. So we will start off with the kickoff show. Originally, it was scheduled to be Rio and Thunder Rosa taking on Britt Baker and Reba. However, Reba was injured, so Maki Ito, who is becoming very popular with the AEW audience, was put in to replace her. Baker was able to pick up the pinfall for her team. Baker and Ito were able to get the win. It's a decent match to start that off. And then we go to the main card. We start with the tag team titles on the line. Young Bucks taking on Chris Jericho and MJF with Wardlow. You said that you saw this match, correct?
Yeah, this is the match I saw, and this is pretty much where I got disconnected after this, I believe.
What did you think of the match?
I was surprised at the outcome.
That the
I
Young
didn't
Bucks
think it was
ended up winning?
bad. Huh? What did you say?
That the Young Bucks ended up winning?
That Jericho took the pin as well.
So I'm not so shocked by that because Jericho has been. You could definitely tell with this pairing that MJF is geared to, launch. And this, by the way, this is how the old timers should be when they're in this spot. You lose, you take the pin.
I understand that, but if you are supposed to be Farouking me, shouldn't I be a bit of a threat and not made to look like a wimp before I even go out? I mean, that's my thought on it, but how you guys feel?
I agree with that.
I agree, but at the same time, he is a heel. I get it.
They're both heels. You can just watch that,
I did not mind it though. I did not mind that outcome. I think it's better than MJF taking the pin.
I can see what you're saying too, though, Drew. Like they're not trying to slow down whatever plans they have for MJF by letting him take a pin.
Yeah,
it's a tag pin though. It's not. You won't remember it. It's not a singles pin.
If it's a tag pin, then it's not an issue that Jericho takes it.
No, that's an issue because that's it's part of a bigger story. That's why it's an issue for me.
What story is that?
When Jericho and MJF eventually clash again, and MJF kicks him out of the group or whatever they're gonna do.
Yeah, and they're gonna do that because Jericho kept on taking pins, and MJF has a leg to stand on when he says, "You're weak. You're the weak link in this group, and you don't have it anymore." If MJF is taking these pins and then says, "Hey, I'm kicking out of the group," rest of the members are gonna be sitting there going, "Bro, you're taking all those pins. Like, what are you talking about?"
So, well, if you're telling me that this payoff or blow off is going to be just that, and it'll be like some sort of promo and it won't be a match, then okay, fine, whatever. Send me out the pasture. But if it's going to be a
I'm not
match,
saying that it's just gonna be a promo, but what I am saying is it's gonna be a lot easier to get the rest of the members on your side if you could sit there and go, "Listen, our losses were him, our wins were me," and you have that proof to back it up. Like, that's the best thing about some heels is when they actually have the proof to say, "Why are you booing me? I'm right." If he's got the facts to back it up that I actually am making progress, then yeah, he should be the leader. But if you're taking all the L's, then it's not going to make sense if you boot Jericho from the group and the rest of the group's like, yeah, that makes sense.
I do have a swerve that MJF and Jericho probably going to happen at the next pay-per-view. So another 6 weeks of this, and that's when it all come to a head. Not to jump ahead, but do you think that he's going to get kicked out the group? He's going to lose to MJF?
I mean, if not, what all is this for?
Yeah. I just feel like Jericho, at his stage, needs a band behind him. Like he's somebody who can't stand on his own too, whereas MJF can.
I can see this either happening where they kick him out of the group and he goes babyface, or, and this is the big or they do something like a retirement match. Jericho loses and goes to the commentary booth.
Which he's really good at, so that could happen too. I can see that.
Commentary match, yeah.
because I can see something where like him and Big Show are on commentary together or something like that.
Microphone on a pole or something like that. Yeah.
No, it'll be your second career on a pole match.
A Fozzy album on a pole match.
The scarf on a pole match. That's what to do is a scarf on a pole match. You can have MJF with the Burberry scarf and then Jericho with his dainty scarf that he has. I watched that.
The next thing that we did have was a casino tag team battle royal. I'm not even gonna lie, this was kind of a drag. I love Royal Rumble type matches. I don't like tag team ones. It just takes for fucking ever.
Yeah, I think I did see this matter now to think about it. It seemed like this when they had all the wrestlers in the world come out to this joint.
Seriously, like this felt like the Jobber Battle Royal. Like, hey, we want you on the pay-per-view, but obviously we got to pay Sting. So here's a Battle Royal. Eventually,
they were a bunch of divas.
With Kid Rock singing them out.
Oh man.
It came down to Jurassic Express and Death Triangle. Ray Phoenix got the final elimination to give Death Triangle the win. Therefore, they are now in line for a tag team title opportunity. This is actually Phoenix and Pac, so those two members of Death Triangle. Next match we had was Women's Championship match. Akaroshida taking on Ryo Mizunami. This was solid. This was a fantastic match. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Tonight.
What's that?
If you had, I heard this might have been match of the night.
Yeah.
If you had to choose from one.
These women beat the shit out of each other. And they were not pulling punches at all. Like, this was one of the best women's matches. This is one of the best matches I've seen in a while. So, hats off to them. Hats off to them finding, female Japanese talent that can work. Fuck you, Rio.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. I'm not buying the 90-pound magical girl anymore. I can't.
It's only Rio that I like.
Shida did get the win. After the match, Nyla Rose, Vicky Guerrero, Britt Baker, and Rebel came out and attacked both of the competitors until Thunder Rosa came down to make the save. So they're getting all the women involved in this. They're showing that it's not just a 2-women program, but it's a lot more than that. So I'm excited. I won't lie. If they headline the next pay-per-view, the women, and it's a good matchup, I wouldn't complain. As long as we're not putting, Stumbly Rumbly in there.
They're probably going to save that headline for when, like, Britt is challenging for the belt or something.
Yep. Or they'll probably do some shit like a fatal 4-way next time.
Drew?
What? Hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay.
Did you go out again?
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay. All right. So, like I said, they'll probably do something like a fatal 4-way or something next time.
McMahon in every corner. Let's do it.
Oh, God, no.
One night only.
Who's going to be the one that walks up from the chair after being confined to it for 8 weeks?
Vicky
That's
Guerrero.
going to be Reba.
Vicky Guerrero. in her life. Try again.
So we leave that great match for a not great match. And that is Miro and Kip Sabian taking on Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor.
So I didn't see this, but I had high hopes. So was it a dud?
Oh, it was shit.
Oh,
Yo,
man.
my man career, man. Like, how hard is it to ruin somebody who is so over as Orange Cassidy?
Right.
So they were using somewhat of an angle in this, where Miro had kind of used Penelope Ford as like a shield at one point, which is kind of showing cracks in their tag team between Miro and Kip Sabian. There was just way too many stories being told in this match, and it just did not mesh. I want Orange Cassidy to get as far away from this feud as possible. He was doing such great shit, and now it's just, yeah.
Common trend over here in AEW.
Speaking of a common trend to that, the big money match, Matt Hardy versus Hangman Page.
Now, before you shit on it, Drew, I heard a lot of people say, you know what? This match was what it was. I'm not mad at it. What do you say to those people?
If there's a bus explosion and only 5 people die in that bus explosion, that's still not a good thing. What I'm saying is, just because it wasn't dog shit doesn't mean we should be happy about it. It could have been worse. It could have been better, though. Matt Hardy, once again, Matt Hardy needs to just stop.
Oh, man.
So they're doing this thing where Hangman Page is like, will he, won't he, with the Dark Order. At the end of the match, he hugged the Dark Order. Come on. Like...
Drew, he's so pissed right now.
Hey, at least he has Matt Hardy's fat paycheck. And he has unlimited talk and text after 9 p.m.
Metro PCS?
Does. But now 5G, we can't do that. I'm sorry. We can't.
Wait, how much money was it? Was it like 3,000 or something like that?
They didn't mention a number. They just said he got his paycheck.
Oh, okay. I thought they had called that out at one point.
So after this, we get the debut of the Hall of Fame caliber Christian, not just Christian Cage. Here he has a last name.
Just oozing with charisma.
Captain Charisma.
The first member of the Brood.
On a scale of quiet but smelly to slapping wet, how much of a fart in church was this? So I don't know why, but anytime that Edge makes waves in WWE, the competitors have to get Christian. It's like, Edge is doing something. We got to get Edge light.
Edge light with less gigs of RAM. All of
Edge ME.
Right. It's our newest product.
It's
The iPhone 12 mini.
so I remember when people were speculating and they were showing the pictures of all the different people, and they showed CM Punk and they showed Kurt Angle and they showed Christian and they showed RoboCop.
They showed RPD as well.
And I'm sitting here thinking, I really hope it's not Christian, because that would just suck. Like Kurt Angle, okay, you could do something with Kurt Angle. Like you could get some, like, you know, I mean, Kurt Angle is literally an elite athlete. At least he was when he was in the Olympics. Like he would fit their theme. Yeah, he's not going to be a wrestler there, but he could like raise a stable of just elite amateur wrestlers to just fucking kill the roster. That would be cool. CM Punk, obviously, that would make a lot of waves. Christian does nothing. He does absolutely nothing to the product. He doesn't make it better. He doesn't make it worse.
He doesn't move the needle at all, huh?
He doesn't move the needle at all. He might as well not be there.
Oh man.
He's like that lady in the office who waters the plants just a little bit too long. Might as well not be there.
Does Kurt have his own wrestling school yet? Because I feel like he should.
I don't think he has his own wrestling school as far as pro wrestling. I know that he does a lot of stuff with MMA. Because he trains like amateur wrestling.
Gotcha.
So he says that, you know, he wasn't given the opportunity in WWE. This is the 27-time tag team champion, 2-time world champion, umpteenth intercontinental champion. I mean, this is like Meghan Markle being paid $7 million to talk to Oprah in front of a scenic surroundings going, man, I'm so impressed. Like, come on. Like, you made a living out of being Edge's lackey, just like she made a living out of opening a briefcase for Howie. Come on. Like you have a lot more than you should have. Let's not talk about WWE didn't give you enough. Like, WWE guys gave you plenty. There's a reason why you're the only one of that TLC group to not be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Scary times ahead, man.
So then we go to another debut. We have the Face of the Revolution ladder match for the future TNT Championship opportunity. Did you guys see any of this match?
No, I did not.
No? Okay. So let me set the stage for you, if I will. So we have 5 contestants, and we have a mystery entrant. Now, you've seen ladder matches for titles. They have the title hanging above the ring. You've seen Money in the Bank matches where they have the Money in the Bank briefcase hanging above the head. What do you think is hanging above the ring for the Face of the Revolution ladder match?
Now, I didn't watch it, but boy, did I hear about this. So I know what's up there.
Swerve, did you hear what it was above the ring?
Yeah, and I've seen some memes with a certain video game character.
So a giant brass ring. Here, are we tongue in cheek yet?
The Emerald Zone match.
So, first and foremost, it looks fucking stupid. It looks fucking awful. And you know, 110%, that's a Cody Rhodes idea. That's him going, somebody's going to grab the brass ring. Literally. Did you see my dogs?
Yo, I have a legit question to ask.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's ever asked this before. But what did Cody Rhodes do to deserve a partnership in this promotion?
You ready?
That's something I always wondered myself.
I'll tell you exactly what he did. He bounced around the Indies. He showed up in Ring of Honor and New Japan because they had a partnership. And they said, hey, you should be friends with the Young Bucks. You would get along with the Bullet Club guys. And he basically carried the Bullet Club's bags and became their friend. Because Bullet Club realized he's a name, he has name recognition, and he realized they also have name recognition. So he was basically a starfucker in the Indies. But yeah, that's the thing, is that New Japan basically paired him up with the Bullet Club. And they're like, hey, why don't we get together and do this thing? Because, obviously Cody's putting himself in the forefront of it, but people forget that there was 4 of them that really came up with the idea. 5 of them, really.
Mm.
And the fact of the matter is the Young Bucks on the independent scene were really the forefront of making the independents livable for wrestlers. They were getting WWE money on the independents just through their merch. So they were hustling, and Cody just showed up and kind of piggybacked on it.
I thought it was just because of Brandy.
No, Brandy got a job because of that. But yeah, he basically piggybacked.
I feel like a lot of people may not know that and may say, well, dude, his father, come on. And probably was born in 1998 and saying that.
I really do feel like a lot of the decisions he makes is because of his father, because he so desperately wants to be Dusty Rhodes. Like his nickname is the American Nightmare, for crying out loud. Like he wants to be Dusty Rhodes.
Well, he's got the lisp down pat.
Yeah, aside from that though, like, bro, WWE had your name. How about you just be Cody Rhodes?
And I will say, like, listen, I know I'm shitting on Cody really hard right now, and I think a lot of it is just because, like, you see this pay-per-view and a lot of this shit's just glaring. But I feel like WWE was kind of in the right when they put him with that Stardust character, and he's like, I can do so much more. But it's like, can you? Because yeah, you can cut a promo and you can speak your mind and come up with those ideas. But as far as coming up with a character, what's his original character? Like, really, what is his original character? He's imitating Vince McMahon and his father in this current character. He has a little bit of both of them. Like, that's not an original idea. He's never had an original character, but he's complained about his characters. And I feel like just a lot of his ideas are basically just ways to jab at WWE.
Every chance you get.
Because you guys never saw me as the top draw. Well, I hate to break it to you, but you're not. Like, nobody's tuning in to see Cody Rhodes, even though you have the most pyro on the show, you have the biggest entrance on the show, you have the biggest ego on the show, you have the most expensive wardrobe on the show. You're not the biggest star on the show. You're not what drives people to tune in. And that's obvious.
Does he know that?
No. I think that in his head, he's telling himself, I'm finally the star that I told him I could be, because I'm wrestling Shaq. Well, you're wrestling Shaq because you set up the match. You booked the match, so that's why you got that spot. It's not because somebody said, listen, we need Cody against Shaq. Because if you asked everyone else, they would have probably put somebody else in there. They would have probably put a Jericho or a Moxley or somebody else in there. Somebody who had the name recognition.
Right.
Somebody who can do the circuit, the talk show circuit or something, to promote it. No, Conan O'Brien is not calling Cody Rhodes.
They definitely would have asked Big Show to do it.
If you would have had Big Show and Shaq in AEW, you would have had people talking. I mean, he got people talking about Akibono. And that match is garbage.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. We go to the Sonic the Hedgehog ring on a pole match. Ethan Page is the mystery entrant from Impact Wrestling. Joining him would be Cody, Pentagon, Lance Archer, Max Caster, and Scorpio Sky. Decent match. Scorpio does get the ring. Comes down. So here's something that I really didn't like about this. Cody was playing the John Cena role in this match the entire time. Every time that he got hurt or banged up or injured, he's shaking it off. I'm Superman. I can't go down. I can't be beat. It's like, dude, come the fuck on, dude.
Is his name mother's name Martha too?
Martha? You were the third wheel in Evolution, dude. Like, you were lower than Ted DiBiase Jr. Get the fuck out of here. Or, I'm sorry, Legacy, not Evolution.
Ted DiBiase Jr. rolling over in his grave.
I don't think he's dead, dude. I don't think he's dead.
I don't say that when somebody's dead. I say it when they're alive, but they're out of sight.
Now, legally he's in trouble, but he's not dead.
Wait, he was still in cable, wasn't he?
No, he was stealing welfare.
Oh yes, that is right.
Stealing cable? What the fuck is this? 1997? Hey, I'm getting all these channels from Adelphia for free. You want in? Page me, bro.
Oh man.
Stealing cable. I wish he was stealing cable.
I knew he was stealing something. I just forgot what it was.
What the fuck, dude? Oh man, if you know somebody's stealing cable, let me know, because that is some shit.
Yeah, it is very very popular crime nowadays.
Man, I got dial up for days.
Terrible.
Speaking of terrible, street fight time. Brian Cage and Darby Allin, or Brian Cage and Ricky Starks with Taz taking on Sting and Darby Allin. Oh yeah.
Heard this was a cinematic.
It was cinematic. And I'm going to tell you this much, and I'm going to tell you something. You ready?
You liked it?
Wasn't bad at all. It was actually pretty good. And you want to know why? It's because it probably took them 13 hours to film. And that is glaring that the only way that this Sting signing works is cinematically. You will not see this guy wrestle in the ring. However, I do not want cinematic matches to be the staple of a pay-per-view. And that's where their problem arises. It's like, okay, this is the only way that it works, but we don't want this to be on every pay-per-view.
But the powerbomb he took a week before led me to believe he would be in action.
But I do want to point out something to you. Who got the pin?
I didn't see it. You got to tell me.
The young up-and-comer got the pin. That being Sting. It's a win for the Gen Zs.
Sting got the pin. Oh my god.
Who is this making happy?
I think it's making happy Tony Khan because he's such a mark. And I think it's making happy Cody Rhodes because, once again, he wants to be his dad. Sting wrestled for his dad. And it's another tip of the hat to, we're bringing that wrestling back, Dad. We're bringing it back.
Same thing make you laugh, make you cry.
Yeah, pretty much. Damn. Yeah, I get it.
I wish it wasn't so dark. It's kind of hard to see the match, but it is what it is. It was a decent match. I think that I appreciated it more because I had such low hopes for this match. Like,
And you had your brightness turned up all the way.
I went into this match thinking, this dude's gonna show up. He's gonna take one punch and die. He's going to legitimately die. Like, not like, oh, he's out cold, like crumple into dust, and there's going to be homicide detectives there. But he actually performed really well. Maybe it was because he was wearing a long sleeve shirt and not letting us see his grandfather bod.
Mm-hmm. If I'm in the back and I see Sting out here getting real good airtime, I'm kind of pissed.
Especially if you were either on the Battle Royal or you weren't on the card.
Yep.
Like, if I'm Shawn Spears and I came from WWE where I wasn't getting any airtime and I was seeing guys like Brock Lesnar and Goldberg getting airtime, and I come here being told this is a whole different scenario. You get what you get. It's a meritocracy. So, you get what you deserve. You get what you earn. Okay, great. And then you show up, and your role is to interfere in a match that Tully Blanchard is wrestling in. And later in the night, Sting is wrestling in a prime spot. I'm going to pull somebody aside and ask, do you understand what a meritocracy is?
Yo, check how old is Tully Blanchard?
I gotta see. Like, you know what? I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he was younger than he looks.
Oh man.
To kind of put into words, his daughter was Impact World Champion, so it's gotta be old.
Well, his match wasn't cinematic though, right?
No, it was in the ring.
He goes in the ring with his. Gotta give us respect on that.
So he's 67.
Yo, see, WWE wouldn't pull this bullshit. I remember when they had the Royal Rumble match, where they had the old people come out. They wouldn't pull it at a match, a tag match or a well, maybe they would. I don't know.
You're right. They wouldn't pull that. They just had Ric Flair at that same age wrestling Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania in a prime spot.
But that match was legendary.
Okay.
Top 10 WrestleMania match ever. I don't make the rules.
Don't tell me to get that.
Oh, I have breaking news. Are we? No, we're not done with the show yet.
Oh, no, we're not. But give me your news.
No, this is outside of wrestling.
Okay, well, I have some news as well.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So guess who's trying to get hired by AEW now? I
Right.
want you to think of the most outlandish wrestler you can.
David Arquette.
No.
Were they currently active in WWE?
No.
Sable.
No. It is a man.
You said Sable.
I'm all out of ideas, man.
What was their last job?
Possibly inmate.
Huh?
Possibly inmate.
Alberto?
No.
Ah.
We mentioned him about Dark Side of the Ring.
No. New Jack?
New Jack has been calling them nonstop and is saying, I just got a physical from my doctor. He says I'm clear to wrestle. I'm just waiting for AEW to answer the phone.
They're bringing fucking.
If I see New Jack in the fucking ring.
A, I'm watching because B, somebody's gonna die.
Oh.
Yeah,
I want it booked for Double or Nothing. Sting versus New Jack.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got next, Drew?
Oh, we have the match. AEW World Championship.
The spot missed around the world.
Oh, yeah. Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, exploding, in quotation marks, barbed wire death match.
Walk me through it.
All right. Match is set up. They pull down the ring ropes. They set up the barbed wire. They have all their weapons and shit around the ring. Now, mind you, there are explosions around the ring where, Omega will do like a suplex and you'll see like an explosion go off and shit. But I do want to point out that, when they did it in Japan, it worked because you had a fixed camera and you can kind of make it seem like the explosion was actually engulfing them. Whereas here, you can definitely tell that it's on the outside of the ring. But, they do it a few times. They wrestled through. It wasn't a bad match at all, really. Omega eventually hit the one-wing angel. Afterwards, him and the Good Brothers beat down and handcuffed Moxley down as the countdown clock aired to show that once it hit the 0 mark, the ring would explode.
Drew, hold on. Before you get there, was there any, I'll say in quotation marks because of the type of match it was, cheating prior to the pinfall?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Good Brothers were fucking with it.
Okay. So they played a part in the... Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So they handcuff him down so that when the ring explodes, they'll take Moxley with them. So then we get a babyface turn as Eddie Kingston comes down, fights off the heels, and jumps on Moxley, as in to protect him. Clock hits 0, and we get sparklers come up from the turnbuckles, and one little pyro just like fireball.
So was the grenade supposed to go off here? Because
it was supposed to be like pyro all around the ring was just supposed to just start going off.
Okay, so Abby sent me this clip, and if you just watch it without the sound, it's okay. It's from a comical standpoint, it's funny, but it's not hilarious unless you hear the announcers. Because they have to pretend like it's just bombs going off everywhere.
Yeah, because the whole thing is with these Japanese like deathmatch type things, like it's supposed to be just like crazy outlandish, but the way their cameras are set up, it looks like the bombs are going off in the ring. They're not. They're going off like outside or around the ring. But and you could definitely tell that a lot of it was also like that the fire paper that just like like magicians would use that goes like it just does like a little bit of a flashbang. But this was just like 4 sparklers coming up from the ring posts and one little fireball outside the ring. That was it.
A good job covering him. I mean, like he was still mad exposed. I think he only protected his eyes. So
Now,
sad.
if you tuned into Monday Night Raw, you'll notice that Monday Night Raw actually had an overabundance of pyro. Almost like they did it on purpose.
They had a mistake too, though. Just wasn't as bad.
What mistake was that?
On Monday Night Raw, at the end when Alexa Bliss lit the match, the cane pyro hit, but all 4 posts didn't go off. Only 3 of them did.
Terrible.
They tried their best to cut away so you couldn't see that corner post, but you can catch it.
Sign of the times, man. I'm trying to leave that no pyro alone and let us shine. So that, our name could still make sense in 2021.
But if you didn't see it back, I suggest you just go back and look at that ending clip where the sparklers go off and listen to the announcers, because that's what makes the whole thing for me.
Well, they like sell it at a 50 when they've been selling it at a 80 for 5 seconds because the pyro didn't go off as planned. So I will definitely watch.
Well, I suggest if you're going to watch something from this match, that you do it quick, because they're pulling a lot of it off online.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would want that shit up there.
Even John Moxley poked fun at it. He says Kenny Omega's good at a lot of things, but he sucks at building a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
So, aside from all of the comical stuff, is this Moxley's, hey, I'm going to go be a father for a little bit now, going away?
Probably. I think that this was supposed to be like, hey, he blew up. He's got to recuperate, where, obviously it doesn't look great because he didn't really blow up. But, yeah, I think that's what was supposed to happen, was they basically kill him off in a way.
Made Shaq disappear, but couldn't make Moxley disappear, huh? Ain't that something?
Shaq went away with the explosives. They used all their pyro budget on Cody Rhodes. They should have told the pyro guy Cody was coming out of the ring.
Yeah.
Well, before we close out, Abby does have something he wanted to say.
Before you get to that, Mac, you said that you had something?
Yeah, a little update about my living situation. So there were some neighbors who, were going to kill each other because they're at each other's throats.
Did they do it?
No, but two of the people, no, I'm sorry, two of the parents of the, how can I put this? The attendees of this said abode who weren't even the actual rentees or renters moved. These were the ones who would yell and scream and play music all day, all night at exhausting levels. They are now gone. So it has been very quiet.
So is it just like a gaggle of families in that or something?
Yeah, pretty much. However, I spoke too soon because the apple does not fall from this family tree. These idiots are now blasting old school music, and I thought it was over. They've mounted the TV where my vent is, so I am hearing everything.
Talk about a victory short-lived.
I know. You know, I'm like Al Pacino, man. As soon as they pull me right out, they pull me. Or when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
What did Abby have for us?
He just said, and I quote, "I'm gonna keep it short. I had 3 disappointments this weekend. Number one, Friday, I watched Coming to America. Number two, I lost money playing cards Saturday. And number three, AEW put on the worst PPV in its short existence. Hoping for a better week." End quote.
Coming to America wasn't awful, man. You gotta, you gotta know what it is going in. Start looking for groundbreaking stuff. For a fact that that movie came out 33 years ago and put 95% of the original cast still in it, you can't hate that. So whatever movie they come up with, you gotta love it.
Hey, I mean, if you got everyone back, great for you. I hope that it's good. I haven't seen it yet, but
It's super. It is super cheesy.
95% of the people who are still living, that's great in itself.
you also got to remember, like, yeah, it's super cheesy, but you also got to remember the fact that when Eddie Murphy did the first one, he was still in his, raunchy stage of his career. Now, he was gotten a lot of family films under him, and he's gotten cheesier.
Right. Yeah. This was so cheesy, but I mean, so much cheese that your ass will plug up. So
Would you say he had an attitude adjustment?
what?
I thought it was comparing him to John Cena. My bad.
Oh man, John Cena definitely could have been in this movie though. This was a John Cena special. Surprised he didn't make an appearance.
John
yeah,
Cena playing the white friend.
yeah, John Cena definitely could have been in this movie. Definitely. I would picture him in this more than I would The Rock. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Hey, Abby, my birthday is this weekend. It's gonna be a better week.
Did
Automatic.
we have anything else?
Damn, man, you can't wish me happy birthday, bitch.
I was gonna wish you happy birthday like when it was your birthday.
Are you one of those people who forget to tell people it's their birthday? Facebook reminds you.
Absolutely.
I'm one of those people too.
I don't remember a single fucking birthday.
Hey, if I remember your birthday, then yeah, you my peoples. If I remember it, I'm at that age now where if I see you 6 months after your birthday, that's as good as it being your birthday.
Yeah. If I see somebody for the first time in like 6 months, I will say happy birthday just out of like, oh, hey, by the way, happy birthday. I know you had a birthday in between because it's been 6 months. Probably you had your birthday.
See, now I'm not gonna wish him happy birthday, but you know what? I will say, how was your birthday? Or I might on Instagram like, I'll see you flicking it up for your birthday, even though it was 8 months ago. I'm still gonna bring it up.
Can we also talk about, by the way, the exploding barbed wire match, the referee wearing a fucking hazmat suit?
Oh my god! Hey, we had this conversation last week. AEW, man, come on, enough now. We get it. You've done enough bullshit now. Stop it.
Well, this was the AEW show, so do we have anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I'm good to go.
All right. Well, play us out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hit us up on SoundCloud. Hit us up on Apple Podcasts. And also hit us up on YouTube. Search No Pyro Podcast. We are also on Facebook and Twitter under the same moniker. We appreciate you. For those that listen, continue to listen. Leave a comment. Hit us up on Twitter with something you didn't like or something you did like, and we'll respond. But aside from that, my name is Total Mac, for Swervy Lee, and also for No Chill Drew. This has been a No Pyro Podcast production. We are out of this joint. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe. And don't forget, spring forward. We're losing an hour this weekend. Set that stove clock. I know it don't change automatically. Set that hour. It's an hour advance.
If you still relying on the stove clock.
Hey, man, I'm just saying. Some people are. Y'all be good. Deuces.